don't do Xochimilco. Or, well, at least do this instead. Do you like a good party?
Yeah, I like a good party. It's got to be in the right place at the right time in the right mood, but parties are great.
Yeah, well, and me too. And I'm not here to tell you not to have a party, but I am here to tell you that maybe there might be a better experience than the Xochimilco, the Sochimlco experience that a lot of people do when they go to Mexico. So, do you remember what the Xochimilco experience is?
Yes, and first of all, I remember that it was south of Mexico City, in Mexico City on the south end.
Right.
And the big tourist attraction are these beautiful boats that you take a ride on, and it's just a party time, and it's just a great time going through these canals on these party boats.
Right, and a lot of people go. They take their friends, big groups. I mean, you don't have to have a party on a party boat, but that's certainly kind of the atmosphere that is created on the Xochimilco party boats. Now, I think what a lot of people maybe don't understand why all those party boats even exist is because there was this legend in the Aztec culture that they would found their big city when they found an eagle holding a serpent on top of a cactus. Well, lo and behold, they found an eagle holding a serpent on top of a cactus, which was on an island in the middle of Lake Texcoco, or is it Texcoco? And they found in Mexico City. So you may have heard that Mexico City is sinking. Well, it's sinking because it was a lake that the Aztecs filled in and built their city and the empire on. And that's kind of the rough history of Mexico City. So the Xochimilco area is where the Aztecs actually built their agriculture and the canals, really advanced agriculture, to feed themselves. They created an entire canal system and grew grains and agriculture in order to feed themselves, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's very cool. You know, if you could imagine, I don't know how many years ago, this lake bed that had all of this, fertile dirt, but it was under the water. So what they did is a process of bringing that dirt up onto dry land and using it as their agricultural base, and it created this series of canals to get from agricultural plot to
Agricultural
farming.
farming.
Right.
So when you get on a boat in Xochimilco and you get on one of those party boats to go down the canals, you may not be getting the exact cultural experience that perhaps might be more appropriate there. I'm not here to tell you what's right or wrong, but I am here to tell you about an experience that we had that we absolutely enjoy. And every time people tell us, we're going to Mexico City, what should we do? Should we do Xochimilco? I always say, yes, go to Mexico City. No, don't do Xochimilco in the traditional way that people, or the expected way that people do it in the traditional way. So there is an Airbnb experience. We're not paid by Airbnb. This is just something we absolutely love that we're sharing with you. That was probably one of my most favorite, cat popping up again, one of our most favorite experiences I think I have had in a really long time.
Yeah, it really is, because it's a cultural experience. It brings to the life the history of the Aztecs, and it just makes you feel like you're taken back in time.
And the food. You get food. You get traditional foods, which, I mean, who doesn't love a foodie experience? So this experience, we'll put the link down below in the description. It's an Airbnb experience. And what it is, you go to the same place that the big, shiny, bright boats leave from in Xochimilco, but you get in a canoe instead. And there was probably, how many people do you think were on our experience? Maybe about a dozen or so?
Yeah, not even that.
Yeah.
It was a small group in
Yeah.
a series of canoes. They hand you a paddle, and it's like, here, you want to help? You can
Follow us.
help. It's like, yeah, let's go paddling down these canals.
Yeah, so you paddle maybe a half an hour or so down the canals, and you get all the history, and you see the bird life and the reptiles, and it's, you're right at eye level with the ground, because you're down in the canal sitting up, and then the ground's a little elevated above you, and you can see all the agriculture going on and see some of the commerce that's going on the rivers and the canals. And then you make it to this farm, this sustainable farm run by a nonprofit, and they are trying to bring back the sustainable agriculture that the Aztecs did and grow the same plants and grains that the Aztecs did in the same manner, which was phenomenal.
It really was. It was genuine. It felt very authentic. The educational experience was really enlightening, and much better, I think, an experience than just going on a boat and, drinking a cerveza.
Or some tequila. So when we got there, we got out of the canoes, and the first thing we did is they took us on a tour. We were able to use the restrooms. They had a rustic toilet situation going on, and then they took us through all the different fields, and we learned some of the agricultural practices. We got to plant some, I don't remember what it was, little green, I don't remember what it was, carrots, or I don't remember, it's lettuce or something. It was green little leaves, so I don't sure what it was when it actually grew out. But there's these squares, which was typical of the traditional agricultural that they did. We got to transplant these plants, and then we saw some artichoke plants actually, which I thought was like artichokes are from Aztec, from Mexico area. I didn't know, so learn something new every day. And then we had lunch. It was a total farm to table lunch. Do you remember what we had?
Yeah, well, I remember we had a salad, from the greens that we were planting, and we had some grains.
Yeah, some quinoa. We had some little quinoa cookies and some tomatoes and what was that tea that we had?
Like a hibiscus?
Yeah, I think it was hibiscus tea. Just absolutely delicious, nice and fresh, literally right from the farm to the table, and absolutely beautiful. So, and then maybe, I don't know, we were probably on the farm maybe an hour to hour and a half, and then we got back in the canoes and paddled right back to where we started from. So really a memorable experience. It was very affordable. I think it was maybe $40 or $50 a head. I don't quite remember what the price was, but you'll check the Airbnb, whatever the current price is, and it's competitive with what the Xochimilco price is. And just felt like we had genuinely experienced the lake and its history, and not and just continue to say it was genuine and authentic.
It was, and again, this is an experience that everybody, the typical experience that everybody does is to get on these beautiful boats and cruise up and down these canals. And if you want to do that, do that. It's a fun time.
And you'll sing,
it really
and
is a great time.
Tequila, and
but also get the authentic cultural experience in riding the canoes and visiting one of the sustainable farms, because that was really a cultural experience that I'll never forget.
And I'm even going to say this is our top tip for visiting Mexico City.
Top tip for Mexico City.
If you want some other tips, watch our video here of how to visit the pyramids and Frida Kahlo's house and the Azul Museum and so on. But I think we just shared our #1 top tip. See you next time.